Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I will detail the tragic story of two rapper brothers who met tragic demises. DeMonte Stacy was born on July 1st, 1994 in San Diego. Early on in his life, he was called Tay Tay by his family. He will always have a major interest in music growing up, even when he embarked on a life in the streets. Growing up in Dago's southeast section, it was easy to be influenced and join the streets and also join a gang. Several Crip and Blood gangs operated out of the southeast, and the Lincoln Park Bloods would be one of those gangs who had a major name in the streets of Dago from various things, including drug trafficking, murder, and all type of other violence. And even in the media, with them being featured on shows like Gangland, and rappers like Don Diego and Mitchie Slick would come from this area. And growing up, Tay Tay will become affiliated with the Lincoln Park Bloods, and as far as going under the wing of Mitchie Slick and taking the name Little Mitchie Slick, or just Little Slick. Little Slick was mentored and took under the wing by rapper Mitchie Slick, who influenced him to rap, and in 2012 at the age of 16, he became the youngest artist signed to Wrong Kind Records, which was Mitchie Slick record label.
They say you fucking with Mitchie Slick and shit, and Young Kind and Wrong Kind. Let them know a little bit about that.
Oh man, that's like the best movie right there. That's like Young Money in them, feel me, but San Diego version, feel me? And there's real niggas on there, feel me, that's really gal shit out here. That's really a blessing that Mitch like really had time to take out to mess with all of us, feel me, like get us all of us worked up, you feel me? So it's a blessing that he's working with us right now. But Young Kind, Wrong Kind is on the way though, you feel me? On everything. My nigga Jelly on everything.
By this point, Mitchie Slick had already been in the rap game for over a decade and was well known. He collabed with several artists like E40, Exhibit, Messy Marv, among many others, and already had a name. And with the guidance and wisdom that Mitchie Slick gave Little Slick, he began to take his rap career serious, releasing numerous of videos and songs on YouTube on various channels. Most of his subject matter in his songs reflected the life he lived in the streets and showing his allegiance to the Lincoln Park Bloods and also his homies. Little Slick had ambition to make it out, with him constantly dropping music and videos, and even releasing his first and only album in 2012, called I'm Out Here Thuggin'. The album had 10 songs and featured other artists like Mitchie Slick. Going into 2013, Little Slick continued to drop music, but unfortunately, his life was cut short. On December 13th, 2013, police said witnesses reported hearing some sort of verbal dispute in the Lincoln Park Bloods turf, then several loud gunshots in the area. A 10 SUV was last seen leaving the area near the shooting. The deadly shooting happened around 6:30 p.m. near the 4800 block of Logan Avenue. When officers responded to a call of a shooting in the area, they discovered a 22-year-old man suffered from a gunshot wound to his upper torso. Medics were unable to revive the man, and he died at the scene. A short time later, a 19-year-old man was dropped off at a local hospital with a gunshot wound to his head. Police believe he was also a victim of the Lincoln Park shooting. He also died, and that man was Little Slick. Little Slick was shot to death on December 13th, 2013, after getting into a public altercation in the Lincoln Park's turf, cutting his career short only at the age of 19. Little Slick's death will be a major loss for his family and also Lincoln Park. He would be honored by Mitchie Slick in several songs, as well as his brothers, who will also rap. Caleb Stacy was Little Slick's brother. He'd embark on the same path, being affiliated with the Lincoln Parks and rapping as well, being known as Little Five. Little Slick featured Little Five on several of his songs, but Little Five didn't have a lot of music on his own prior to the death of Little Slick. Around 2016, Little Five began to take his rap career serious and started dropping several songs and videos. Some get millions of views, like songs like Never Ever. Over the years, Little Slick continued to drop several songs, even dropping albums like 2019 album, Still Thuggin', and 2021 album, called Jay-Z. But just like his brother, his rap career would be cut short. In May of 2022, Little Five would lose his life. On May 14th, 2022, the incident happened around 5:41 p.m. when police were dispatched to U Avenue for reports of a shooting with at least one victim. Upon arrival, officials located a man identified as Little Five with multiple gunshot wounds. On scene, they provided first aid to Little Five before he was later transported to a local hospital where he later died.
This evening at about 5:41 hours, our dispatch center started receiving 911 calls regarding a person down and several shots being fired and in the area of El Toyon Park.
And so officers arrived, and what did they find?
The first three officers on scene located a gentleman lying on the ground He was suffering from several gunshot wounds. Officers immediately attempted life-saving measures, CPR and whatnot, and medics were on scene shortly thereafter and transported him to a local trauma center, but unfortunately he passed away.
And we do have witnesses to the shooting?
There are witnesses that were on scene.
6 months later, in November of 2022, a 34-year-old man was arrested for the murder of Little Five. Little Five was 28 years old at the time of his death. The brothers also have another brother who took the name Baby Mitchie Slick, or just Baby Slick. He also became a rapper and released numerous of videos and songs, but he is currently in jail. 2 rappers lost their lives to similar circumstances in less than a 10-year span, and they just happen to be brothers. This is another cautionary tale of what the streets can bring you, and also how it could take your life. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.